He was deep in the jungle when it happened. A sudden, sharp trumpet echoed through the trees, loud, powerful, almost too familiar. Dr. Pattarapol froze in place, the sound cutting through the stillness like a blade. His heart skipped a beat. Was it just another wild elephant? Or had something or someone recognized him? For a brief moment, he laughed at himself. He was a trained wildlife vet, not some nervous tourist. But deep down, that trumpet had stirred something ancient inside him. Memory, emotion, a call from the past. He'd been wandering off trail that afternoon, killing time, letting the serenity of Thailand's Rayong woodland work its quiet magic. It wasn't unusual for him to do this. He loved nature. He trusted it. But this time, he'd gone farther than intended. And now, the trees around him were too thick, too quiet. And that sound? That was no ordinary call. He moved toward it. Each step was careful, deliberate. The ground trembled slightly. Another trumpet, closer this time. The air felt different, charged with a strange electricity. He reached a ridge and looked down. There they were, 3 elephants, massive and majestic, grazing peacefully. Their sheer size should have been intimidating. Instead, he felt humbled, small. The forest around them seemed to bend in reverence. But these weren't just any elephants. These were survivors. Scarred, wary, shaped by years of evading poachers and cruelty. Pattarapol knew their kind, knew what it meant to be tolerated by them, let alone trusted. He crouched quietly, hoping to get a better view. But fate has a sense of humor. The earth beneath him gave way. In an instant, he was tumbling, crashing through branches and underbrush, landing hard with a thud. The air rushed from his lungs. Pain flared in his knee. Silence followed till the 3 elephants turned. They saw him, still on the ground. Pattarapol locked eyes with the largest. Its gaze was unreadable. Not anger, not fear. Something else. Curiosity. Recognition. He didn't move. The elephant did. Stepped forward. Slow, deliberate. Its enormous feet silent on the forest floor. Pattarapol's breath caught. His knee throbbed. He knew he couldn't run. But then something shifted. The look in the animal's eyes changed. It wasn't the glare of a threatened beast. It was softer, familiar. A memory surfaced. 12 years ago, a younger Pattarapol, on a dirt road not far from this very forest, had slammed the brakes of his jeep. A young elephant stood in the middle of the road, barely standing. It was skeletal, sick, dying, the kind of sight that never leaves a man. That elephant had swelling around the face, neck, and abdomen, signs of fever. Its trumpet had been one of despair, not aggression, and Pattarapol instinctively had acted. Severe acute trypanosomiasis. The disease was eating it alive, transmitted by the tsetse fly and deadly if untreated. He'd called in his team, no time to waste. But before they arrived, he'd approached with a tranquilizer gun. The young elephant didn't resist. It collapsed right there at his feet, breathing like each inhale could be its last. Pattarapol had dropped to his knees beside it, looked into its eyes. And in that look, he saw that flicker of trust. A bond formed in the dirt, under a burning sun, between a dying elephant and a stranger who refused to let it die. They had lifted it into a truck with care, rushed it to the veterinary center. The fever burned for days. Pattarapol never left its side, slept on the floor beside it, whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep. That it would survive. That it wasn't alone, and somehow it worked. The elephant he'd named it pulled through. Barely. But it survived. Over time, Pong recovered fully, became playful, strong. Pattarapol remembered how the elephant would trumpet whenever he entered the enclosure, nudging him gently with its trunk as if thanking him again and again. That bond had only deepened until the day came to set Pong free. That goodbye had nearly broken him. He had watched the elephant disappear into the forest, trumpeting one last time as if saying goodbye. He cried then, more than he expected. Everyone at the center had been moved. Pong was not just another case. He was family. And now, here. Back in this forest. That trumpet. That look. The elephant stepping closer wasn't just any elephant. It was Pong. Fully grown now, towering and strong. But those eyes. They were the same. Pataro felt it before he believed it. Still on the forest floor, he extended his hand. The massive trunk reached out, gently brushing his palm. And in that moment, time collapsed. The years melted away. They were back in that hospital room, on that dirt road. In every shared breath, every unspoken word, that old connection surged to the surface. Pong had remembered. Pataro blinked back tears. The pain in his knee throbbed again, but he didn't care. Pong did. The elephant lowered its head, almost as if to inspect the injury. Then, with a low, vibrating rumble, it stepped aside and let out another trumpet, this one different. A call not of warning, but of invitation. From behind the trees, two smaller shapes emerged. Pataro's eyes widened. Two baby elephants, one barely a few months old, the other not much older, shuffled forward, flapping their tiny ears and trumpeting playfully. Pong nudged them gently toward Pataro. They were his. The vet couldn't believe it. Pong had brought his family, introduced them to the man who had once saved his life. Babies were curious, wide-eyed, unafraid. Their trunks reached out to explore this strange new human. They circled him, poked at his backpack, nudged his hands. It was trust, pure and unfiltered. Kneeling, tears in his eyes, Pataro whispered to them. The bond had extended to the next generation. He wanted to stay there forever, but reality was creeping back in. His colleagues would be worried. He needed to return to base. The pain in his knee had become unbearable. Walking was not an option, and Pong understood. The massive elephant stepped forward again. This time, it didn't just reach out its trunk. It wrapped it gently around Pataro's waist. The vet froze. For a second, his instincts screamed. This was too dangerous. But then he felt it. The careful, measured grip. Pong was lifting him not with force, but with care, as if remembering exactly how fragile humans are. And then, Pong began walking. Step by slow, steady step. He carried his old friend back through the jungle, the babies trailing behind. When they reached the base camp, the staff froze in disbelief. A full-grown wild elephant had emerged from the trees with Dr. Pataro cradled in its trunk. The gentle giant lowered him to the ground, as if handing over a precious gift. The silence was deafening. Then, slowly, as the vet's story unfolded, the AHO turned into something else. Reverence, people gathered, some crying, others speechless. This wasn't just a reunion. It was a full-circle moment. The kind that makes you question everything you think you know about animals, memory, and connection. Pong stood there a moment longer, as if waiting for a final word. Pataro nodded, whispering a thank you, his voice thick with emotion. Pong turned, trumpeted once, then disappeared into the trees, the babies closed behind. No more words were needed. What lingered in the air wasn't just sound, it was proof that compassion leaves a mark, that elephants never forget, and that sometimes, if you're lucky, the life you save will find its way back to you. Would you ever believe an elephant could remember you after 12 years? Or lift you up and carry you through the jungle without a single word exchanged? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you ever doubted the intelligence of the wild, maybe this story will make you see things a little differently.